Hello, lovely people. We're back on Lee Judges TV. Myself and Lee back on the channel to talk all things Arsenal. It is deadline day. We're going to be talking about that. Also going to be talking about yesterday's result. And Lee was up there, so I'd love to get his perspectives. Make sure you hit like. Make sure you hit subscribe. If you can come and show both myself and Lee some love, that would be amazing. It's literally costs nothing at all by hitting 2 buttons, like and subscribe. I'm going to talk first of all about the game, and then perhaps we'll talk a little bit about deadline day. I don't expect anyone to come in last minute. There's not any rumours suggesting that Arsenal are going to be bringing in anyone other than Incapaye, who I think has been agreed for some time now. And then, of course, some outgoings. But I don't expect there to be any drama. But we'll keep you up to date if that does happen. Let's talk about Liverpool first, though. Lee, you were there at Anfield. We spoke a little bit yesterday, but I haven't heard your thoughts in full, and the chat have not yet. I've given enough about what I thought, and I'll come in after yourself because on my channel I was talking about what I thought and some of the positives and negatives of yesterday, if there was many positives. But what did you think? Because it's always different, I think, when you're there, because I didn't go to the game, and you were there yesterday. So talk to me about what you thought about the game, mate.
Do you know what? Like, listen, 24 hours or whatever long it is now to think about it and whatever, like, you know what I mean, or less than 24 hours. But I'm just still down about it, and not because of the result or the performance, or if it just the way it was. I just feel we didn't give it a go. Then, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like what could have been. You know, look back at the first half. Brilliant. We dominated it without really going for it. And a couple of examples I said about this on the Forever Arsenal. Martinelli once had the ball, ran 20 yards, stopped and then come back. Right? And thought, oh, I better not go forward, like, you know. And there was on 3 or 4 occasions yesterday. And listen, you know my thoughts on Calafiori. I thought he was outstanding, right? He can play the first-time ball which would set Gyökeres off or Martinelli yesterday, particularly in the second half, and he chose not to. I'm not having a go at him when I say this, but what he done was he got the ball, instead of playing it first time down that channel, like, you know, and Gyökeres would have been a one-on-one, you know, you don't know what's going to happen. What he done was he come inside, kept the ball, played it to Rice, who played it to Zubimendi, Zubimendi played it over to Timber. Timber played it to Mosquera. Mosquera put it over to Gabriel, and Gabriel put it over to Calafiori. So where was Calafiori when he picked that ball up? In exactly the same position as he was before it. You know what I mean? So
we haven't actually got any further.
no, but what we've done is we kept the ball and kept control, but we didn't take a gamble on that pass. Now, that's being safe. That's what I'm saying about being brave. I've heard a lot of people talking about different things today, negative, and it's not negative. It's not being defensive or putting loads of people. It's being brave in possession. You know, take the chance. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day. Now, that ball might not come off, Dan, right? It might not come off. And then you might have to defend. So what? We've got good enough defenders to defend. This is my problem, like, you know what I mean? I look at the midfield yesterday, like, you know, they take out their midfield player. They put in McAllister, who, as we all know, is a very, very good player, but he's not 100% fit then, like, you know what I mean? Couldn't last the game. So what you do then is, instead of going like, no, this is an opportunity to get at their midfield, oh no, let's shore it up, like, you know. What are we shoring things up for? We've got a fantastic defence. What are we shoring at the best defence in the Premier League? Why are we shoring it up? They're the questions that I'm saying. So what I'm saying is be a little bit more bold, be a little bit more brave going forward. Yes, you're going to give the ball away a little bit more. You're going to give up possession. I get that, but you've got good enough defenders. You've got to defend that. You've got Rice and Zubimendi covering it. Why do you need to do all of that? Why, you know what I mean? Why play Martinelli as a defensive winger instead of an attacking winger? You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand it. And I just think, Dan, people are going like, I've heard it, and I'm going to say them like these fencing people going, oh, but what about Liverpool? They didn't go, they were very offensive. They weren't very, they are champions, right? They have won the league, right? We're saying, what can we do to get over the line, right? That is what we're saying. Liverpool don't have to worry about that. They've got over the line. They've won Champions Leagues and they've won titles. We're saying, what can we do? And this is what they're missing. Like, you know what I mean? Liverpool, if Liverpool don't win the league this season, it ain't the end of the world because they won it last season. If we don't win it, it's another year. There's pressure on us. And I just think at the end of the day, we have got to just be a little bit more bold and all that. Like Liverpool's, as Harvey says, Liverpool's front three done nothing. Why didn't they do nothing? Because we're good at defending, right? Yeah. So trust in those defenders. I wouldn't swap any of those defenders over for anybody in the league, damn. So why protect them? You know what I mean? Like, why go in with it? Like, you know, listen, Mourinho didn't do nothing wrong yesterday. But he ain't going to get the ball, go around 4 players and smash it in or go that. He might get something from a set piece or whatever, like, you know. Our set pieces were poor, by the way, yesterday. Or you can turn around and say that that they defended it well. Like, listen, they're a very, very good team, Dan. They're going to be even better in 3 or 4 weeks' time. You know what I mean? Like, this was a good opportunity to take them on early in the season. You know what I mean? And I get it. That, you know, we can make a few excuses. We haven't got our foot. Again, we're playing Liverpool with a half-strength team. Like last time, we had no back four when we played them at home at the Emirates, remember? And this time around, we've got good players missing and all that, like, you know. And so I understand that. But when I look at it, Dan, I'm just hear me out on this, right? Wanyeri, Trossard, Odegaard, Bauman, Eze, 5 of those players, right, all on the bench. Could you have just fitted one in that 11? That's all I'm saying. Just one, just to give us a little bit more firepower. I watched Bournemouth the other game be more dangerous than us going forward. Right? I see Newcastle with 10 men making them look ordinary. Why couldn't have we just done a little bit of that? Be a little bit more adventurous. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying go gun-ho or whatever. And I know people will turn around and say, well, if we won that game 1-0, it's different. But we didn't. We done that same thing against Man United and got away with it. We've got a centre forward you spent a lot of money on, like, who's had 6 touches in 2 away games. That ain't good. When did he get any service yesterday? So I'm just saying, be a little bit more brave, be a little bit more bold. You've got the firepower now. Use it. And trust your defenders to defend. And at the end of it, then, was all that defending we done and nullified their back three, we still ended up losing the game because of a bit of magic. And that can happen in a game. I'm not saying it can't. But I'll tell you what, I went up there 2 years ago when we drew 2-2. No, I didn't go. I was in Dubai when we drew 2-2. We went up there a couple of seasons ago, drew 1-1. At least we had a go at it. I thought, well, at least we was in the game. We had a go. Well, I don't think we had a go yesterday. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we defended very, very well. And, you know, no one's going to turn around to me and say that Mikel Arteta isn't a good coach, because he is. He can coach us to get to, and you know, we go to Anfield now. I'm not worried about getting battered up there like I have been in the past. We're always going to put in a reasonable performance, defence and all that. But what the question is now, not that he's not good enough, or I'm not having that he's a clown or anything like that. Is he going to get us over the line? That's a different argument to saying that he's not a good manager and doesn't deserve. I think he's a very, very good manager, right? He is, because we're challenging for titles. But has he got it to take us? I'm not so sure, Dan. I'm not so sure. I look at what they done yesterday. Their manager slot changed it a little bit, and they went for it a little bit more yesterday, like in the second half. There was a part of that game. There was a part in that game where both managers turn around, and I know that they're at home, and it's a different thing. I get that to a certain degree, but I've seen Arsenal do this at home as well. There was a part of that game where it was like, do we go for this to win this game, or do we stick with a draw? Our manager said, No, even though we're dominating, I'll take the point. Their manager turned around and said, you know what, we'll go for it. And that's the difference. 2 years ago, we done this against Man City, got a very, very credible draw against Man City. And 2 years on, with better players and all that, and against a not as good a side, we still done the same thing then. 2 years on. I think 2 years on, we should have said, no, we're going for it. We can win here today. This is a big statement for us. We can win here. I don't think we did.
Look, I think you make some unbelievable points. And I'm going to nick something you said yesterday to me that you haven't mentioned yet, which stuck in my mind all overnight. And I cannot answer this. I've asked the boys on it earlier today. I asked the chat on it earlier today. No one's given me an answer yet. We've got an unbelievable back four that you've mentioned. I agree with that. It's the best in the league. We've got a goalkeeper who I think is one of the best in the league, although he does frustrate the hell out of me sometimes. But what you said was spot on yesterday to me on the phone. He wants to go, he doesn't want to take any risks, Mikel Arteta, which is why we're quite rigid at times, which is why the attack doesn't go a full-out attack. It's why we don't go gung-ho. Cool. No problem with that if you don't want to take some risks. So why are you letting the goalkeeper take a risk then?
Well,
why are you letting the goalkeeper go and pass it when 3 players are on him? Why are you letting the goalkeeper take a risk at the back, which can lead to a goal, but you don't want the attack to go gung-ho because you might leave ourselves a bit short at the back? It makes zero sense to me whatsoever. Now, look, I've wanted this manager gone for a while. I don't think he's ready. I don't think he's good enough. I don't think he's getting across the line. I think when people now ask the question, can he get across the line? I think we all know the answer is no, right? And I think we see that yesterday, that the answer is no. Hopefully he can surprise us all and go and win the next 4 or 5 trophies that we can compete with. Because it ain't about winning one trophy, by the way, and it's done. He's got to go and try and dominate. This is what we want, right? We don't just want Arsenal to win a trophy and go, oh, thank God for that, right? Go and support Formula One now. What's happening in the Formula One or the cricket? Like, this is about Arsenal winning trophies year in, year out. Can Mikel Arteta get us 1, let alone the next 15 in the next 20 years? I've got no idea. I don't think he can get any hope in hell of doing that. So I don't get that. And I'll tell you the other things I don't get yesterday, which there's no positive Arsenal fan, Arteta-loving fan that can get behind and explain to me what happened yesterday. Team selection, totally with you. Why has he got all our creativity on the bench? Question mark. No one can answer that, right? Marino comes in. He's got Marino, Zubimendi and Rice in the midfield away at Anfield. That is a very negative midfield. And I can tell you after speaking to Liverpool fans, they were like, oh, Martinelli and Marino, no Eze, no Ranieri, no Odegaard, this will be okay. And they even said, and we still couldn't really answer you. But somehow you lost with 7 defensive players on the pitch. That's poor. Then we get to William Saliba's situation. He goes, boss, I felt something. You're right to play. Well, maybe. I think so. Shocking decision from Mikel Arteta. Just get him out. What are we doing? Why are we trying to risk someone who's injured himself in the warm-up? What are we doing that for?
And the medical team have got to take a bit of that as well. Right?
Of course they have. That's their job. Then Mosquera comes in. One of the positives from yesterday, in my opinion, alongside Calafiori. Mosquera and Calafiori and Noni Madueke, for me, were the 3 players that can hold their head up high, right? Then we get into the game. It's negative. It's passing sideways and backwards. Rice goes back to Zubimendi. Gabriel's going, have another touch yet, Zubi. Come back to me. Or if you go, Gabriel, have a touch. Gabriel, Mosquera, having a touch with it. Don't worry about the front 3. They haven't had a touch yet. Don't worry about that. You go back Timber. Oh, let's get to the left. Calafiori another touch yet. Boring football, right? 70 minutes, he still hasn't made a fucking sub. But what is happening here? What is going on in Mikel Arteta's mind to think that it's okay at 68 minutes to be 0-0? That must be the game plan. We're happy with this. They are vulnerable. They ain't very good at the moment. They've got a front line that isn't clicking either at the moment in that game. Didn't see anything from any of their players that made me think, crikey, Liverpool peppering our goal here. At the back, they were good, I've got to say. Thought they were excellent, in fact. So Bosley was man of the match. I think he's been their best player at right back, funnily enough, in the last couple of games. Van Dijk and Konaté, very good. I thought Kirkes did well against Noni Madueke. I thought had a very good game for us, right? So they did well. So in that 70-minute mark, he brings on Eze, and we look better already. Martinelli has had a shocker. Odegaard comes on, nothing really changes. Massive issues with him, huge question marks. Max Dowman comes on. So I asked the question, where's Ethan and what's Ethan done wrong now? Because he's now not getting a chance. So there's a lot of question marks there, and a lot of question marks point to the manager, right? I've got no idea. Then he comes out in a press conference and says, Liverpool have never suffered that much before at Anfield. Trust me, Liverpool ain't suffering. They're quite happy. They've won 1-0 with a screamer because you decided not to bother turning up and having a go at them. There is no way you can tell me that it was not on the manager yesterday. You can say that there was definite players that maybe weren't as great, or you can talk about Gyökeres if you want. You can talk about Martinelli. You can talk about some of the individuals if you really want to. But for me, there's a big problem with the manager, and I'll end on this: is Gyökeres a shit player, or is Arteta not using him right? Is Martinelli now a rubbish player and it was a fluke when he scored all them goals in 22-23? Or is it Mikel Arteta? Is Ødegaard now someone who no longer can create, and those 15 goals he scored in 23 were just a fluke? Is there any coincidence that every single striker or attacker, bar Saka, has had an issue under this manager? Whether you look at the trash like Willian and Sterling, whether you look at Trossard and Martinelli falling off a cliff, whether you look at Reece Nelson, Smith Rowe and Eddie Nketiah who haven't been able to make it at this club, whether you look at the likes of Ødegaard who now for the last 18 months has been poor, or whether you look at the fact that Aubameyang and Lacazette had to get out because they couldn't stop scoring goals, or they couldn't stop scoring goals under Emery and Wenger. There is a massive issue, Lee, with the front three and the attack and final third in this club since this guy has arrived here. Now, we've seen it in glimpses. 2022-23, we got 8 points clear. It looks like a brilliant side, so he can do it. He is choosing not to, mate. He is choosing not to. There is a difference. Mikel Arteta, I've seen him blitz teams. I've seen Arsenal scintillating. I've seen a superb getting 8 points clear. Between January 24 to the end of May, I saw us lose one game to Aston Villa and draw one to City and win the rest by 5-6. He is choosing not to. This is all on him. He has got PTSD from the last couple of seasons of not winning, and then he blamed the injuries of last season, which are still happening again, by the way. That's 4 injuries in 3 games that we've got. To players I said I'm worried about: Saliba, Gabriel, not injured, but I'm worried about him. Timber, too much football, worried about him. Ødegaard, still don't look right. Ben White, not heard where he is. Saka, injured. Havertz, more surgery. That's 7 players in 4 games.
Norgard, not even made a debut yet.
Sorry, another one. Norgard. I'm sorry, mate. I don't know where we go from here. I am. If I'm watching that, Lee, for the rest of this season, we are winning exactly that number. Zilch, brother. We are winning zilch if we play like that. You can't be that scared, bro. You can't be a scaredy cat.
No, and he's got to go back to where he's got to go back to that team that he had, that philosophy that he had 2 seasons ago. Blitz teams and all that. Yes, you're going to concede goals, but you're not going to concede as many like with that defence. It's still a good defence, but you've got to say, right, I've got 4 fantastic defenders, or whoever is in there. As you say, like, we didn't miss Saliba yesterday. Let's get that right. We did not miss him yesterday. He wasn't the reason we didn't win that game. That is unbelievable, Dan, that we can say that for the first time in a very, very long while. Like, yeah. Also, now I look at it and go, right, you've got one of the best holding midfield players in Rice. Zubimendi's not a holding midfield player, right? He's not. He doesn't do what Partey does. So you're going to have to change that now. You're going to have to put Declan Rice in there, let Zubimendi do what he wants to do, and then let the other 4 just do their stuff. Yes, you get back into a shape, of course, but at the end of the day, don't worry about defensive duties. I look at Martinelli like yesterday, and listen, we've tried to stick up for him and everything. I'm sticking up for him in a certain thing. He's got the chance to run at somebody and he decides to cut back and keep possession. That's not right for a wide player. You know what I mean? Let them go and play. Get the ball wide, get them taking on players and get the ball into Gyökeres so he can score goals. We're not doing that. What we're doing is possession. He must be so annoyed yesterday, like, you know what I mean? He makes the run and the ball doesn't come in. There was opportunities to do it yesterday and we didn't do it. And we've got to start doing it. Making us be a little... Listen, we was as entertained. I'll be honest, right? We was 8 points clear, right? If we played that football down with the squad we've got now, we'd romp the league, because at the end of the day, the only reason we didn't win that league is because we got injuries to Saliba and that we couldn't replace them. But we have got them now. You know, Saliba went down like he did that time. Well, I've got no worries about who comes in. Same with Gabriel, who comes in and whatever, like, you know what I mean? Calafiori can play there and he's been outstanding. So why don't we go back to that? And at the end of the day, if we do pick up an injury, we've got someone to replace it. I don't understand it. You know what I mean? We've got ourselves 8 points clear. We haven't got ourselves 8 points clear playing like this. You know what I mean? Like, we would have won the league that year if we'd have kept the players fit, right? You know, you can go on about Jesus as well. He was injured. Saliba was injured. We lost some big players that come the end of the season. We've got a much better squad now. Just go for it, Dan. Go for it when we're scoring, like, for fun. And you know what? We're enjoying it more as well. I'm not enjoying the football at the moment. Did you enjoy that game yesterday?
Oh, I haven't enjoyed Arsenal, bruv, for a long time. I enjoyed 3 games last season. It was Tottenham because we won, Real Madrid because we won, and Man City. I was struggling after that, brother. I'm really struggling after that. Home and away. I'm seriously struggling. And the Tottenham away was only 1-0 and was a header from Gabriel. Wasn't an enjoyable game, but I enjoyed it because we beat them, right? That wasn't an enjoyable game, but I enjoyed watching us against Real Madrid and Manchester City because it was great to watch 5-1 and 5-1 in 2 games. That's it. I pay a lot of money, so do you. We shouldn't have 3 games a season we enjoy. No, it's not good enough, mate. Not good enough. That lowest 2 away games has been poor, isn't it? Man United, Liverpool. I get the difficult places to go, judges. I get it. I'm not saying we should go and blitz them both 4-0, but show some heart and show some flair and allow these players to express themselves. This is why Wanieri and Dalman look good, by the way, and Lewis-Skelly, because they're young kids. They ain't been drilled into as much yet. They've come on and they're flair. They're showing themselves. They're expressing themselves. Martinelli's and Erdegaard's and co. They ain't allowed to do that. I honestly believe that.
Listen, we had games at the Emirates where we was goals down and we come back and it was a little bit a bit of, madness at times. But my God, I enjoyed it. Like, you know what I mean? I enjoyed the football, like, you know what I mean?
Oh, sorry, this comment. Sorry, Lee. This was unbelievable as well. Who's told Rice to 70 yards to kick the gain territory rugby football? I couldn't believe it from kickoff. I've never seen that. Smash it up there off. Do you remember from kickoff? Straight from kickoff. Yeah. He smashed it up straight off. Just straight off to the long throw.
The engineer box, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that was a poor tactic. You know what I mean? Like, he shot from which went in the cop. I don't know what that was all about. Neither, like, you know what I mean? But I just go back to how we was. Please go back to how we was. We ain't going to win the league like this. We might not win the league the other way, but at the end of the day, at least we're going to go guns blazing, like, you know what I mean? Like, that was the thing, like, for me yesterday, Dan. We've lost, but we didn't go down all guns blazing. What we did. Listen, the players come over. You couldn't help but clap, and they worked their socks off yesterday. That first half, we run their back front three ragged, running ragged. They were running, not getting the ball, getting frustrated. Like, we've got to do that to their back lot. You know what I mean? Like, it's no good running, having the ball. I don't know how many times we got it to it was a sequence of, I don't know, it went from Calafiori to the goalkeeper by the way, there's a risk to it, because if you mess it up, it's gone. You played it out to the central defender, played it to the right back, then we played it again. Why can't we do that in the front? Yes, we miss Saka. Yes, we miss we miss Havertz yesterday, because Havertz is a different player. Like, Havertz is more suited to that possession-based football than Gyökeres. Gyökeres is looking for goals. He's not looking to connect play. You know what I mean? Like,
he ain't going to score any goals if we play like that for him.
No! You know what I mean? Like, it's a miracle that, we got 15 out of Havertz last season. A miracle. You know what I mean? Like, but there will be times when we play that and Havertz will miss that opportunity when we got to hope that Gyökeres, when he gets that opportunity, he takes it, like, you know what I mean? But he's not going to be like peppered with goals, Dan. He's not. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go too much into it because it was obviously a tough place to go. But what I don't like is that I'm seeing other teams like let's be honest, a blunt Newcastle looking like they're going to score goals against Liverpool every time they went forward, right? Every time we went forward, apart from McAvoy in the first half, right, who's on end product you could be questioned, we never looked down. I sat there, right, or stood there yesterday, and I said, like, I can't see us conceding a goal today, right? But on the other hand, I can't see us scoring. Now, at the end of the day, if we'd have come out with it with a 0-0, you can turn around and go, well, all right, it's a good point, right, blah, 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 blah. But we didn't then. There's a difference. If you come out of a point from that game, you're going to turn around and I would have still been critical because I still think we could have gone for them. I thought that they were vulnerable. Even a few of their fans are saying yesterday, like, it was a good time to play them. They were worried. They was absolutely going mad after the game, right? Because they knew that I think they knew that they'd been given a little bit of a lifeline.
Yeah.
Been let off the hook a little bit, like, you know what I mean? We was 2-1 up against them last season, weren't we? And they nicked a goal. And, we was disappointed, like, you know what I mean? Like, if we'd have won that game 2-1, I think we'd have been the same because we knew that but we didn't. I don't think that they're as good a side as Man City two seasons ago. I don't.
No.
They will be. Now they're going to get Isak. They're going to be unbelievable side because they're going to have options coming off the bench. You know what I mean? They took off their striker that scored two goals in 2 games, right?
And
looked dangerous, and put on a midfield player. They won't be doing that after this. You know what I mean? It'd be Isak coming on and him coming on. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be, and if they're struggling for a goal, they're going to have them all on there. So this is going to be a real tough time now to. And
that was the best time to play him. That was the time, mate. Isak again, not there yet. Not a clicking side. Not ready. Vulnerably defensive. I think that was a miss from us, and for us not to even go and have a dig. That was no different to 2 years ago when we played Man City away and we went and drew 0-0, and everyone said, "What a brilliant result that is." No, it wasn't. That was a 6-pointer. That if we would have won, we would have won the league. And I do believe that was a missed opportunity because I think that we are going to be very, 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 very tough to beat Liverpool this season. Very tough to beat Liverpool last season, but this season I think even more so with the players they got now.
Oh, and what it's done now, we've got 2 home games now, Dan, where we've got to get 6 points. What does that bring? It brings pressure. Put pressure on ourselves now to win those 2 home games. We've got to win those 2 home games now. And they're not going to be easy, Forest and Man City, like, you know what I mean? If we drop any points against Man City, you know what I mean, which could happen, I'll be furious because you cannot afford to drop points at home now when you have that attitude going away from home. So you've got to, get these results. I'm looking like at the end of the day now, like there's got to be a change up from the manager. There is. I don't want to see us having all this possession based. We had all this possession based football for half hour against Leeds, and eventually we got them down. But we've got to do it more.
Yeah, but how? How did we break through them? Another set piece.
Another set piece. But
I want to see some open play goals, man. Like we had the open play goals against Leeds because we went 1-0 up and then opened the floodgates. That's what we can't rely on that against these teams. We've got to go into these games and we've got to actually give it a go. I need to be seeing that. I appreciate Saka and Saliba are our 2 best players. They were out. Ødegaard was out. Havertz was out. But let's just be real. Like, we should have actually had a go. Whether it's one area on the pitch, Eze on the pitch, Ødegaard on the pitch, or me or you, I want to see us have a bloody go and actually go at teams. I can't remember the last time I've looked and been excited because we're going on the attack again. Oh, we're on the attack again. Let's go. There's a couple of moments yesterday Noni Madueke had. That was it. There was nothing other than that. It was all sideways and backwards. You're right about Zubimendi, good footballer. He ain't Thomas Partey. He's a downgrade. Rice, he needs to play alongside him, and I want them closer together. I don't want Rice as his bloody attacking 8. I want him as I thought he was good yesterday, and I want him closer to Zubimendi. But that does not mean that because we've got Rice and Zubimendi that are seen as defensive, that we have to be this defensive side. Because when you play like that, you better not lose the game. It doesn't matter if you don't win it Do not fucking lose the game when you've got 7 defence-minded players on the pitch and you still lose 1-0 to an absolute scream of a free kick. Now, anyone can score that goal, right? That can happen. But you've got to go and be attack-minded to go and get something out of it. Eze, I couldn't believe that chance. I don't know how he didn't shoot. I don't understand what happened there.
Well, I don't know what happened there. I actually thought he was fouled, but when I look back on it, he wasn't. He just sort of fell over, didn't he? But there was a great chance for him, really. Great chance for him, like, you know. Just you know, like at the end of the day, unfortunate, Dan, like, you know what I mean? That didn't happen a lot. But the trouble is when you're only going to get one chance a game, pressure's on, isn't it? You know what I mean? I remember watching Arsenal, you know, under thing, you can go like, you know, well, another chance is coming. This week you take one. We don't create no chances. You know what I mean? What we done in the first half, all that possession based and everything there. The only chance we had was Madueke when he had the shot. Good save. But other than that, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't there. Also, I've got to say this, Dan. I'm gonna, you know, Arteta's thinking of, you know, Odegaard not trained all week, like, you know what I mean, brings him over in front of Wanyeri. You know what I mean? What was Wanyeri thinking yesterday, like, you know what I mean? Like, not only that, I thought he done very, very well when he played wide right for us. And all of a sudden, he's, you know, like being left out now for a 15-year-old. I'm not having a go at Max when I say this, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
at the end of the day, you know, what's he done? What did Martin Odegaard do to justify playing in that game?
Agreed.
He's injured, hasn't played. Wanyeri come on last week, done well, trained all week. You know, and it's all right. It's Martin Odegaard. I get that, captain and whatever. Then he come on and done absolutely nothing. This cannot continue. This cannot continue. He didn't do nothing in the game for 30 minutes when he played, right? He has got to, you know what I mean? If you're not going to do it, I think he's becoming a bit of a problem now, like, because what are you going to do with him if he's not producing? You know, I don't want to see Saka starting against Forest. He's not going to be ready. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to see Saka for another. If he's out for 3 weeks, I want it to be 6 weeks.
Yeah, I don't want to see Saka until West Ham.
Yeah.
After Newcastle, there's the West Ham's the one I want. I don't want to see Saka until West Ham and Fulham. They're the games I want to see him for. I don't want to be seeing him any earlier. We've got Madueke.
When's the next international?
Next international break is October the 9th, 10th weekend.
Right, so I don't want to see him till after that then.
I think that is the West Ham game, isn't it?
Is it West Ham game? I don't know, but he needs
let me check. While you're chatting, let me check.
He needs about 5 or 6 weeks off, like, you know what I mean? Like, not because he can't. I don't want him to be rushed back at any show, like, make that strong.
Sorry, it's the Fulham away game is when you want him back. That's after the international break.
Yeah.
So the one after West Ham.
So what date's that?
The 18th of October.
Right, they got Fulham. Or is it Palace?
Unless I've looked at it wrong. No, Palace is the 25th of October. So Fulham is after the international break. So we've got West Ham at home on the 4th, and then it's the international break. And then it's... Is that right? Have we got 2 international breaks that close together? Yeah, we have, yeah. So we've got Forest, Bilbao, Man City, Newcastle, Olympiacos, West Ham, and then another international break. And then Fulham, Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Palace, Burnley, and then Champions League. And it's right the way through November until the next one, which I believe...
I've got it down on the October the 4th. We got...
West Ham.
Yeah, and then on October the 11th,
we got Fulham.
Unless I've got that wrong.
It's changed, I think. International break. Confirm that in the chat, guys. But that's what I'm looking at.
I've got it here. Maybe that's me put it down wrong.
4th of October is West Ham. Then it's an international break for a week, and then we ain't got a game until the 18th of October. We've got a 14-day layoff. Yeah, so it must be an international break in those 14 days.
Right, so I've got that wrong. I put that wrong that's come up wrong on me. Like you put in the thing.
Yeah,
That's come up wrong. So the
no,
14th,
that is right. Yeah,
so the
it's the
11th, right?
4th of October. Yeah,
Yeah, I've got
4th
to
of
delete.
October is West Ham. Then it's an international break until the 18th of October when we play Fulham away.
Right, okay, and then like the 25th is
Palace.
Palace. Right, okay.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So I don't want to be seeing the lights of Saka until after that. West Ham game's fine, but he'll bring him. He'll be on the bench against Forest. Saka will. I bet you any money because he overplays them. He overplays these players. Saliba and Gabriel have played an incredible amount of football. So's Timber off the back of an ACL. Ben White's played way too much football previously, and now he's hardly played a game for most of the season and this season. But what's happened to Ben White? Do we know?
No one knows what's happened with Ben White, whether it was a niggle or whatever. It must be a hamstring. Like, do you remember he done that run against? He got done by Acuna, didn't he? With a lovely bit of skill. We chased him down, and then that was the last we've seen him. So he must have done his hamstring. Must have done. But they're keeping that quiet.
Oh, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But look, I thought yesterday was poor from the manager, and he does need to change it for sure. But we've got an international break now, and I just want most of these lads to pull out of it, Lee. I've got to be honest. I don't want anyone playing these international games. Even Odegaard's going. Saliba's out, obviously. I just don't want any of them playing, if I'm honest. But we have got deadline day. It's looking likely that Incapié will come in as a centre-back. Probably be our last signing, which will be 8 signings from Andrea Berta. Saka and Saliba apparently looking like they're going to sign new deals at Arsenal, which is great news if that happens. And we've got some outgoings. Before I start talking about individuals and what might happen in the last few hours of this window, judges, what do you think of the window so far under Andrea Berta? Because I've been impressed, mate. 8 players in, contracts signed, Saka and Saliba looking likely, outgoings look like it's going to happen. Kivior's gone. Looks like Lokonga and Vieira are both going to Hamburg. Zinchenko might be staying, but there's rumours he could last minute go to Marseille. There's rumours of Trossard leaving today as well, which is very strange because I thought we were keeping him. But there's rumours of Trossard potentially going as well. But what have you made of the window in terms of a rating so far? And do you think there's any more business to be done today?
No, well, the one coming in, like obviously Kivia is going to go. Like, listen, it's a 9 out of 10 for me. The reason it's not as massive as everybody else because we should have got Gyökeres in 3 weeks before we should have done. That's my opinion. And we should have been 3 weeks before, learning him how to in the pre-season and all that, learning how to play with him and everything like that. What we're doing it on the job now because we try to save £2 million. So that for me is the only reason it's not. Other than that, it's been absolutely outstanding with the players that we've got and everything like that. It's been fantastic window. A window of 8 players coming in, Dan, and would never have ever. If you'd have said to me, we actually said, we need 5 or 6 players. Never going to get that though. Well, we have. So you've got 8. You cannot not knock this transfer window. I felt we was a little bit slow at first. Listen, that can happen. We brought in. I think if we'd have brought in Gyökeres first of all, it would have took a little bit of pressure off it. Listen, I lost my head a little bit about it when I see a couple of those signings that weren't for me. We're getting in Norgard, getting in Madueke before the forward. I don't think the right strategy, if I'll be really honest. But at the end of the day, we got in what we wanted to get in. So fantastic. But my only beef about it is that I felt we should have got Gyökeres in a little bit earlier because we're suffering still at this moment in time. If he would have come on the pre-season 5-6 weeks before, 1, he'd be a lot fitter than what he is now. 2, we might be getting a little bit more out of him when we go to places like Anfield and get those things in. That is my only thing about it. Other than that, it's been sensational. Well done, Arsenal Football Club.
Well, look, I'm going to say Liverpool have had a 9 or a 10. That's my opinion. I think I think you've gone with 9. That's quite high for me, but it's your opinion, your decision. I think Liverpool have had a 9 or a 10 with Isak, Guehi, all this kind of signings. And the amount of players they've sold, they actually haven't spent that much money when you look at it in terms of net. They've actually recuperated majority of it, which is scary how good they are at selling. The player sales for me and how long it took to get some of them in, that ain't really. I haven't been too impressed with that. What I will say is I've been very impressed with Andre Berta and his kind of signings. I don't blame the player sales just on Andre Berta, by the way. If I said to you now, can you sell Zinchenko for me? Yep, no problem. We're only getting £5 or £10 million offered to us. Yep, that's because some muppet put him on 150k a week, so we can't sell him. So it looks like Zinchenko might stay at Arsenal because no one wants him because he's rubbish and he's on too much money, right? Fabi Vieira, not going to get any money from him. It's a loan. Reece Nelson, straight loan. Lokonga, pennies. The players we're trying to sell, Lee, we can't sell them. So I don't really put that down to Andrea Berta. I put it down to Edu and Arteta for getting stinky signings like Fabio Vieira for 38 million, which was a waste. Putting Zinchenko and Reece Nelson on stupid wages. So now they've got another loan for Reece Nelson. How many loans is that now Reece Nelson's had? There's no option to buy, by the way, Lee. I hope you know that. That's just a straight loan, Reece Nelson.
Straight loan to Brentford, isn't it? Yeah, I see
straight
that.
loan to Brentford.
Yeah.
That's crap. Sorry, man. I'm sorry. You've got to put an obligation in there for 15 million or something. Yeah. Same with Fabi Vieira. Oh, there's an option of 20 million. Well, they're not going to sign him for that, are they? Because he's crap. So, like, it's just poor. That for me. So that's why I'm giving it more of a 7 to 7.5. Eza for me, that is a brilliant signing. Gyökeres, brilliant signing. Zubimendi, good signing. And then the backups are better than what we had, I would say. I would say they are. Like some people say they're not. I don't rate that Neto goalkeeper at all. I think Kepa's better than him. I don't think that Neto is good enough, personally. So I think Kepa's... I don't love Kepa, by the way, but he's better than Neto, right? Madueke, he's better than Sterling and Nelson. Let's just have it how it is, right? He's better than that. Norgard, I don't think he's worse than Jorginho. I don't think he's better, but I don't think he's worse than Jorginho. I don't look at him and go, core. He can't kick a ball compared to Jorginho. He's not worse, right? He might not be better. Zubimendi is not better than Partey, but he's not awful. Like he's a good signing. So I think they've either been. So Mosquera, I don't think he's worse than Kivior from what I can see. I think I'm quite impressed that he'll probably go on and be better. And Hincapié is definitely better than Tomiyasu because he's never bloody fit. Tomiyasu still not got a club, by the way. Tomiyasu, no one wants him because he's never fit. So I think we have upgraded. If I'm honest, there's no excuses though now, and this is where people get it twisted. Oh, crap window, crap Arteta. Hang on a minute, nah, you can't be that. The board. I'm not a fan of the Cronkies, by the way, but the ownership and the board have said to Mikel, no pressure. There's 8 players. That's what he's done, Lee. No pressure. There's 8 players. Better go and win something. You cannot tell me that Mikel Arteta has not got a squad good enough to win a trophy now. I don't care whether you rate all of these players or some of them. We have got a very, very good squad now. This is by far the best opportunity we've got to win something because every position we've got cover for. Now, I appreciate that he can do his best to muck it up, and that's a different argument. We have got a squad good enough to go and win trophies now, Lee. I'm sorry, we have. And if you tell me that he can't get him working and he can't get him scoring and he's too negative with this and he ain't really getting the team selection right and in-game decisions are wrong, not using Wanyeri, not bringing on Eze quick enough, not using Max Dowman right, not looking at the squad depth rotation right, then that is all on the manager now. There is no more hiding. He's not got a striker. Have now. In fact, it's a bloody good one. He scored 100 goals in 2 years. Well, he ain't really got cover for Saka. Well, there's an England international in Madueke. Oh, is that going to stop us getting Eze? No, we're going to get him on top. He's also coming to Arsenal. Zubimendi and Norgard are coming in with Jorginho and Partey out. We're losing Kivior, though. That's all right. We'll go and get Hincapié, whatever his name is. Mosquera's coming in. Tomiyasu's out. Mosquera, there you go. He's straight in the door. Neto's gone. There's Kepa. You cannot tell me that this guy's not been back now. This is 6 years, bruv. Yeah, and 900 million euros spent. Fucking win something, bruv. Yeah, win something, please. Just give me a trophy.
They were in a good position to win something, like, you know what I mean? But I still panic about, like, might be the semi-final of the FA Cup, might be the final. And you're in that position where it's tight, 0-0, 1-1. And Arteta's got the choice, do I go for it or don't I? And I think you always go down the road of, like, we'll defend it. And we end up losing it on penalties or a goal like we got done to us yesterday. That is my problem. The next 2 games, I want to see something different from Arsenal. and see how it goes from there. Like at this moment in time, Dan, if you put a gun to my head and said, like, you know, who's winning the league, it ain't us.
Liverpool, 100%. I think we'll come second. I do. Not that that's a trophy. I think we will still come second. I don't think City look right, judges. I've got to be honest.
We're by. I think Arsenal and Liverpool are by far better than all.
Yeah, they're the two. I think Chelsea might depends what Chelsea do.
Chelsea might, but I still think I'm going to say it now. I don't think their manager's top class. I'm going to say.
I agree. Yeah. I agree with that.
I think they were very, very fortunate. They should have lost on Saturday. They got a VR decision that we'll never get. One of those, never ever in a month for Sundays we would get that. Listen, we could have had an handball yesterday. I've seen handballs given for that. I've seen handballs.
Oh, what it was like?
Yeah, I've seen them. Yeah. I don't think it is. I'm going to be really. I'm not saying it is a penalty, but I've seen penalties given for that. Like, you know what I mean? So, listen. At the end of the day, we're not. You know, it is going to come down to the manager, Dan. At the end of the day, it's going to come down to the manager and his tactics. If we win this league or not. And unfortunately, I've seen it too many times. But he's still, I don't think he's a clown. I don't think he should be sacked at this moment in time. What he's got to do, he's got to get through and win something. And I'll tell you what, that starts in a few weeks' time at Port Vale, Dan. Not the Champions League. Make sure you win that. Go out, all of that.
I'll tell you what, I will say this now. I have been very disappointed with how we've chucked domestic cups in the bin. If he does that again this season, right? And what I mean by that is not really taking him seriously. I just put him, man, not a nothing game. We've got Everton at the weekend. We've got to beat. I won't forgive him, judges.
He's got to win it. He's got to listen. At the end of the day, if you throw away the FA Cup and Carabao Cup, you've only got Champions League and the title.
Yeah,
and you're up against it. Get your when you go to Port Vale. Listen, the second team will play up there, but they make sure they win that game. And he continues to keep winning and winning and winning. You know, in February, March, get that under your belt takes a lot of pressure off. Look at Spurs. It took a lot of pressure off of them. Like, you know what I mean? Just get that off your belt. Win that, and then see where it goes from us. Like, you know what I mean? So every game's going to be massive for us now, Dan. That is it. That when we play the League Cup,
I think we've got more chance of winning a domestic cup. I really do.
Listen, when we go to Port Vale, I am as much up for that game as I am going to Bilbao. All right. In fact, I want to see us put in a better performance at Port Vale than Bilbao, because at the end of the day, you're out if you lose against Port Vale. You're out of the cup. You're not if you're in the Champions League. I want to see us. There's no. You've got to get it over there. Let's just do it.
I agree. I think we've got more chance of winning a domestic cup than any other. I think we've got more chance, believe it or not, of winning the Champions League than the Premier League.
I do think that as well. I think we've got a very good chance of winning the Champions League, Dan, because of the way we set up and play.
I agree. I've actually got little to no chance of us winning the league, but I think that we've got a chance of winning a cup, whether it's Champions League or domestic cup. You know, I actually said I think Arsenal win the FA Cup this year because I think that he knows he has to take it seriously, and it means a lot to the fans, the FA Cup. That's the reason I've gone for that, but we'll have to see. A couple of super chats, Lee, before we close. This one comes in and says, play with 3 defensive midfielders. It shows you how cowardly Arteta is. I totally agree with that. The other one is just coming from God and says, Timber is great defensively, but I'm about him offensively, Timber. I think he's so good all round. I've got a lot of time for him personally. I think he's an unbelievable fullback. I've got to say, Timber and Callum, I've not got any. I'll tell you this now. Overall, I've not got any problems with our defenders, Lee. I've not got any problems.
No, it doesn't matter who you play. I ain't got a problem with anybody we play in the defence. Like Ben White, I think Ben White is probably a little bit more better offensively than Timber, but Timber's an outstanding defender. That gap guy never got a kick yesterday. I don't think it was Timber's best game by a long chalk. He never got a kick. Never got a kick.
I think the whole of their front line was poor. Verts, again, poor game. Salah, invisible, locked up by Calafiori. Up top, Ekatike. I know he scored a goal, but it was offside. And then obviously you got Gakpo, like you mentioned. I mean, Gravenberch was good. Szoboszlai was good. Kenyatte and Van Dijk did well. Kirkes looked a bit better. That was about it. And I think with Arsenal, Mosquera looked good. Calafiori looked good. I've got to give it to Rice and Noni Modweki. I thought they were the four really that shone. So
Yeah,
I don't think there's
Gary
any.
done all right. Gary done all right.
Who?
Gabriel.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant Martinelli.
No. Gabriel played well, like captain as well. You know what I mean? Like, notice he didn't give it to Declan Rice. You know what I mean? Because Tony Adams said something, so that's the end of. And there's no way to give it to him now, like, you know what I mean? But listen, I thought he put in the captain's performance. By the way, Gabriel.
I'm going to say something that I actually think is quite an unpopular opinion. My captain would be Gabriel.
No, I like that. He's at the back. I like the way he plays and everything like that.
I'll give it to Declan as vice, but my captain would be Gabriel. He for me, is a captain. He's the leader at Arsenal.
He looked very down after the game yesterday, Declan Rice. Very down.
Well, they're going to be. This is the problem we got. You know, people keep saying, you know, well, look at this. They got this, that, and a third. These players want to win. They want to win trophies, Lee. They don't want to be coming second best all the time. So that's where I'm at. But anyway, listen, we're going to leave it there. There's 750 of you in the chat. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, please. Big up for the super chats as well and your interactions in the comments. Big up for all of you for being there. That's it from me and Lee today. We'll be back, I'm sure. But deadline day, are Arsenal going to do anything? I think we might be done. Outgoings, yes. I'll be back at 8 o'clock on my channel on 12th Man. Race for Europe. We've got all the boys coming on to talk about the Ched deadline day and the weekend's games. There's quite a few of us that are probably going to get a cooking as well. Certainly Spurs, Arsenal and City are. And definitely Nottingham Forest with Wolfie. And that will be box office. So make sure you come and join us at 8 p.m. on that. And yeah, Lee, I'll let you have the last word, mate.
Yeah, old Lawless is happy with that West Ham performance. Like, that was unbelievable performance. So, like, listen, that is the thing about football. I'm pretty sure West Ham kept it tight and nicked goals at the end. Fine margins, ladies and gentlemen. Fine margins win football games or 35-yard free kicks. Have a good day.